Hello once again. I want to welcome you into today and to this presentation. And I want to begin with a very lovely verse that I really love. That is 3 John 2, which is a promise and a gift, of course, that I want us to claim together, that above all things, may you prosper, may you succeed, and also be in good health. Now, we have been looking at an interesting topic, and I want to welcome you to today's presentation. That is a continuation, part 2 of what we have been looking at. We are looking at depression, and so far we covered part 1. And if you happen to miss the part 1, kindly you can look at the description down there, and you'll find a link that will connect you to part 1 of depression, that is understanding depression. And we saw how we can identify a depressed person or someone who is depressed. So I want to invite you to look into part 1 as we look at part 2 in this presentation. Just to inform you that after part 2 there is part 3, and I want to welcome you to subscribe and to open the notification bell in your channel, of my channel, so that you can get the part 3 of this presentation, and it will be dealing with what to do. For today, we are looking at types of depression, and we will consider 4 common types. Okay, we are going to consider 4 common types of depression. And of course, in part 3, we will look at what to do, especially when one is experiencing depression, or also to prevent prevention, because it's also good to know how to prevent prevention. I'm Counselor James Omari, and I want to welcome you into this part, types of depression. Just to say that we stand with our frontline workers who are putting their lives at risk to ensure that we are safe and free from coronavirus. So I also want to dedicate this presentation to you so that we can also help to reduce the rate of depression at such a time. So we'll look at the 4 common types of depression. One, we have what we call major depression. We shall look into it into details. We also have another type of depression that is called dysthymia. Another type of depression is called bipolar disorder. Then we also have seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, seasonal affective disorder. We are going to look at these 4 major types of depression, but it's good that I will also mention there are other types. Okay, there are other types of depression, or what we call there are other common, or rather specifiers. Okay, there are other specifiers which are considered to be types of depression, but we look at these major 4. Then I'll also mention the others just for your knowledge and to be educated. So I want us to go straight to the first one, the major depression. Now, this causes symptoms that may, 1, begin suddenly, possibly triggered by a loss, crisis, or a stressful change. Right now, we are going through a pandemic. It's a global thing. Now, such as sudden and change and crisis can cause major depression. Now, interfere with normal functioning. Okay, this type of depression, it interferes with the normal functioning. Okay, continue for months or years. It is possible for a person to have only 1 episode of major depression. However, it is more common for episodes to be long-lasting or to recur several times during a person's life. Let's look at this dysthymia. Dysthymia, people with this illness may consistently and mild depressed for years. It affects the normal functioning, the daily basis, the daily routine of a person, and also the relationships and the self-esteem of a person who is experiencing this type of depression suffers over time. So you might realize somebody is behaving abnormally, dysfunctional relationships, low self-esteem because of this type of depression. Another type of depression is what we call bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression. Now, people with this type of illness change back and forth between periods of depression and periods of mania. That is an extreme high and sometimes with agitation or irritation. So you realize somebody also is as if displays having two personalities. There are times where very high, at times they are just there, cool and low. Now, symptoms of mania or bipolar disorder may include the following: less need for sleep, overconfidence, racing thoughts, reckless behavior, increased energy. Mood changes are often gradual but can be sudden. Now, season affective disorder is another type of depression, and this is depression that coincides with changes in season. Okay? And most cases begins in the fall or winter when there is a decrease in sunlight. In short, what I can say about season affective disorder, it attacks people, especially when there is a reduced exposure to the sun. And that's why in part 1, I mentioned something briefly about how important sunlight is, or the sun is, to our body and as well to our mind. Now, it's more common in the far north, and less often depression occurs in the late spring. Seasonal, we have said, is caused by majorly decreased exposure in sunlight. Right now, people are in lockdowns. In other countries, they have been locked down, others restriction. So you realize there are those who feel scared even to go out, exposing them to less sunlight. It is very dangerous. And as we continue, we'll also look at what to do. In our next part, we look at what to do. Now, let me say something about all these 4 types. Professional treatment is helpful for all these types of depression. Before I go to the aspect of treatment, allow me to just mention other specifiers which also can form part of types of depression. We have what we call anxiety disorders. Okay, the anxiety disorder, you realize under this anxiety distress, okay, unusual relentlessness, worry about possible events or loss of control. Okay, another specifier we have is mixed features. Okay, where we have simultaneous and mania, deviated self-esteem, increased energy, just like we have seen. We also have another specifier that is melancholic features. Okay, under melancholic features, we have severe lack of response. Severe lack of response. Another one is what we call atypical features. These you realize somebody has increased appetite, excessive need for sleep, okay, sensitive to rejection, yeah. We also have another one called psychotic features, and this is accompanied by delusion and hallucinations. Okay, it's good to know so that you can be able to identify or help someone who is going through depression. Another one is what we call catatonia, okay, which includes motor activity, okay, fixed or inflexible postures. Another one, which is very common, especially during pregnancy and after pregnancy, is what we call postpartum. Yeah, postpartum depression and peripartum onset. Peripartum is during pregnancy. Yeah, And postpartum usually occurs after pregnancy. Well, having said that, those are some of the types of depression or specifiers of depression. Now, I want us to look at this aspect of treatment that is generally prescribed or advised for all these major or common types of depression. Now, number one, and very important, I want to say this, that not only one type of treatment is recommended. And for this case, I want to mention at least 3 ways. One, that includes medication. Okay, medication has its part when it comes to treatment. Number 2, there is what we call psychotherapy. And I will start with that, psychotherapy. Okay, because depression affects the mind. Like we saw in part 1, that when the levels of neurotransmitters in the body or in the brain reduces, someone may end up getting depressed, stressed up, anxiety, and all those, name them. So dealing with the mind, psychotherapy comes into play, as well as equipping the person going through depression to be able to gain that self identity. The other thing, which I'll also we'll look at, especially in part 3, is what we call physical activities. Physical activities or other ways of coping with depression. So for this case, I want to speak about the first 2, that is psychotherapy. Okay, psychotherapy, counseling can help many depressed people understand, accept, and feel better about themselves. People also learn more effective ways of coping with life's adversity and difficulties. So there is a role that counseling plays in any person who is going through depression, and even to the caregivers. Now, for example, interpersonal therapy works to change how to accept self and relate to others. That affects mood and self-worth. So there's that kind of therapy, psychotherapy, that is interpersonal therapy, majorly to help someone to accept themselves, to come out of denial, Another aspect in psychotherapy is what we call cognitive therapy. Helps people to change the negative thinking, behavior pattern, and attitudes that affect self-esteem and overall sense of well-being. So cognitive therapy, right from the word cognitive, has to do with the mind, the cognate part of the mind of the human. Having said that, I want to mention medical treatment for depression. Now, medication. There is medication. Antidepressants are an option, most often for more severe cases, that can help ease the symptoms of depression and return a person to a better level of functioning. Now, medication is often crucial for cases of bipolar, typically a mood stabilizer. Now, antidepressants are not habit-forming and generally have minimal side effects. But it's also good for me to note this and mention this. When it comes to medical treatment, there is need to be very, very careful. First of all, don't do self-prescription, because some of these antidepressants, they have side effects. So it is good for one to be diagnosed. And when you go for diagnosis or testing, there are around 3 or so types of tests, and one of it is the physical examination. Physical examination, even a counseling psychologist or a psychiatrist can help to examine physically, okay, to identify the signs of depression. Another type of diagnosis or test is what you call the blood type. The lab test. Yeah, the lab test. That is the complete blood count. Thyroid test. Okay. Another one is what you call the psychiatric evaluation, where your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior are being evaluated. Well, for counseling and psychologists, they also use DSM-5 to be able to test or to diagnose the aspect of diabetes. But let me say also this, as far as medication is concerned, it has been shown, or research has shown, that there are some inherited traits which may equally play a role when it comes to how antidepressants will affect you. Insomnia cases, results of, in some cases, a genetic test needs to be done. That is done by blood test, or what you call the cheek swab. Okay, this one may offer clues about how the body may respond. So there is need of proper diagnosis before going through medication for depression. Just like I said, there are so many types of medication, but also have their side effects. Having said that, it is good that we know how to get help. Psychotherapy is there to help you. Talking to a counselor, talking to a psychiatrist, to help you know how to avoid or overcome depression. In our part 3, we shall look at what to do. What to do. Having said that, I want to welcome you once again. Subscribe. If you have not subscribed, I want to say thank you for those who have subscribed into my channel. Subscribe, and you can share with many others so that we can be able to reduce the rate of depression. We are going through a crisis. It is a completely unexpected crisis, and anyone is prone to depression. However, there is cure, there is treatment. See you. Look for part 3 in this presentation, what to do. May God bless you as we pray for our country, as we pray for our frontline workers.